Alright, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Valentine's Day themed tumbler. Alright, so here's a list of all the materials you will need, including some screenshots of all the items. You may see maybe a different color of these items, but this is everything that I used. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start out in Canva, and you're going to click on Create. And then once Create opens up, you're going to go to Custom Size. And this is based on the measurements of the glass you are using. So with your tape measure, you're going to get the width, and then you're also going to get the height. So the width is all the way around the glass, and then the height is from top to bottom. So this glass is 9.5, 5.5, and I already had a pre-made template, so that's what I'm gonna go to. So I'm gonna show you how I create what I call as gang sheets. And I don't call them gang sheets, but this is what they're called if you were to like order vinyl stickers from companies. So I'm going to show you how I do this so then you can just create your own when you are making any tumblers. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to the Elements tab, and under Elements you're just going to type in whatever you're looking for. So for this instance, I'm looking for bows. So I'm going to find the graphic that I like best that will cut easily in my Cricut design space. And one thing I do want to say is it doesn't matter what color you have on here because it will be whatever the vinyl color is. So what I'm doing now is I'm changing the size of the bow, and I want the bow to pretty much be like an inch to an inch and a half. And then right now I'm doing is just duplicating, so then I can create just an entire row. And then once I've created an entire row, I'm going to copy all of them, and then I'm going to group them together. So then I can just center, and then I can duplicate it again. And then now I kind of save myself some time. I was trying to see if I could fit another row, but that wasn't working out, obviously. So then what I do is I just center it evenly. And after that, you're just going to download your designs. And the biggest thing when you download, so you're going to go to share, is you want to make sure that you actually click transparent background, because if not, and you go into Cricut design space but you don't pay for Cricut design, you will have to pay for that feature. I do pay for both Cricut and Canva, so I actually have that option to do that. Alright, so now we are in Cricut design space, and we're going to click blank canvas, and you always have to kind of like remove whatever was there first. So you're going to click the plus sign, and you're going to go to upload, and then you're going to select whatever photo. And obviously I was trying to make sure you guys didn't see everything else I had on my thing. But yeah, so I'm going to select the bows that we created. And like I said, there's already a transparent background, but like I said, Cricut does have the option for you to get a background remover, but it does cost, or it is included in like the monthly fee. And then it's going to ask you to name the image. I normally just name things random stuff, but today we will name it bows 1 because I do have a different type of bow as well. And then it's going to be added into your blank canvas. And so as you can see, you'll be able to see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the top going to 15. That is actually inches, and it is to mimic the mat that you will be using, so you can see like what the dimensions are. And another thing that you can do is you can click position, and you can actually just make the size whatever you want as long as you unlock the lock. So if you open up the lock, you'll be able to make it whatever you want, but you'll start to see that it might stretch your image. So I think the best option is to kind of just let whatever Cricut has when it comes in and then kind of go from there. But I did make it to where it was the exact same as how it was in Canva, but then I wanted it to be a tad bit smaller because I could tell based on the margins that they were a little bit too long. I didn't want them to be 2 inches long, so I wanted them to only be 1.5. And then here, what you're doing is, so you can move it around all you want in here. And I always forget this, like I can place this wherever I want on this screen, but when you are actually ready to make your design, it is going to make you move it to where you want it to be on the next screen. Another thing that's important is you want to make sure that your operation is on cut and basic. Therefore, your Cricut machine knows that it's going to be cutting and it's going to be outlining your design. I am going to select on a mat 12 inches by 12 inches. And like I mentioned earlier, even though I can move it all around on there, this is where your final positioning is going to be set in stone. So here, whatever you place your bow on this screen is exactly where you need to place your vinyl when you are ready to submit it to your Cricut. And then as far as all the things on how to use your Cricut, the Cricut design space actually tells you exactly what to do step by step with your Cricut. So I will not go into too much details around that. All right, so now I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and the first thing you want to do, which I learned, is you want to open up your trimmer to make sure that it is extended to its full length so you can measure what you're measuring. So it just pulls out from underneath and it has like a ruler. My desk is in the way so you can't see how far it goes, but it does go to, I want to say 13 or 15 inches. So now I'm going to take my vinyl and I am going to cut them to the length that I want them to be. And so this one I'm going based on the height, but remember we're making a gang sheet, so I just wanted to make sure I had enough leeway. So I did go to 6 inches just to make sure that I was playing it safe. So for my mat today, I am using the light grip mat because I didn't really need the standard grip. And what it is, it's really the stickiness. And I didn't need any that much of the stickiness. So that's the reason why I went with the light grip. But also I want to add to, like I said, the Cricut design space will tell you exactly what to do with your Cricut once you get to these steps. But I do want to suggest to changing the pressure from default to more. And you'll kind of see why when I start weeding through this pink, this light pink bows, that they're, I had a little trouble. So again, like I said, the Cricut's going to tell you what to do. So the first thing is you're going to press those buttons. It's going to up and down. It's going to flash. And that is going to measure or like fill out if the mat is there and all this other stuff, right? Then it's going to tell you that it is ready to make the design, and it's going to start flashing that play button. And so once that comes up, you're just going to press play, and then the Cricut machine is going to start going to work. All right, so now that our Cricut machine has cut out our bows, we are now going to weed through our bows. And I actually have this little finger tool thing that helps me collect like little tiny scraps. But you can also just use like a piece of paper or put like some vinyl on your hand inside out, like double it to where that the sticky side is still up. and then you can kind of stick the little scraps onto there. So all I'm going to do is just kind of weed out the little parts of the bows, and then I'm going to start pulling the vinyl, the excess vinyl off. And as you can see, this is what was happening because the Cricut didn't cut too deep into the vinyl, I would say. And that is the reason why I said it's important to change it to more in this case, or at least just in case, because then you just know it's really cut. And this was the final look after I was done weeding. So now I'm going to take my transfer tape, and I do get my transfer tape off of Amazon. The link will be in the description. I will have a link to everything that I used in the description. And I do like to use my weeding tool to open, or like at least get to the transfer tape, because it is very sticky, which I really like, but it can be a little difficult to kind of at least peel it off from its backing. So I really like to do this and use this tool. And I'm showing you real time the struggle because, I just got to keep it real with y'all. It'd be like that. All right, so now that I've freed my transfer paper, I'm going to attach it or place it on top of my bows. And I'm going to take my squeegee, and I'm just going to make sure that these bows are adhesiving. They're adhering? Maybe adhering. I think adhering is a better word. They are adhering to the transfer paper. And I'm just pressing really hard back and forth. And then this is for the other color bows. And this one was when I used the pressure more. And you can see, it is peeling off flawlessly. I had to show this because I know I was struggling in the first one. So now we're going to get to decorating our tumbler. And you're just going to grab your tumbler and you're going to clean it off with your alcohol wipes. I actually use some lint-free wipes and then just some alcohol rub that I have on hand. And you're going to make sure that you clean the entire glass. You also want to make sure that your hands aren't oily. So if you have oily hands, I suggest wearing some gloves. And then I am inserting a cheat sheet that I created to help me evenly disperse the bows, and I did kind of have that on Canva, and I just made it with squares, and then Canva kind of helps you like make sure that they're spread out evenly. So that's kind of how I made that. And then now I'm just cutting out the bows that I need. So that's the reason why this is like so great, because I'm no longer wasting transfer paper, but I'm also not wasting a bunch of vinyl, and I always have the bows ready. I did also print out my name because I wanted my name to be on the glass, so I'm just showing like where a good placement would be. I do wish that I put it horizontally instead of vertically, but I'm using that square to help me with the placement of the name. And so that's the benefit of having like this cheat sheet slash template kind of vibe. And when you are placing your vinyl on, I did start in the middle and I pressed it down, and then I took my squeegee and did like the sides. So here I'm showing you that how I'm just taking a bow, peeling off the backing, and then picking it up with a transfer paper and just placing it on the square. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I just know that they're evenly dispersed. So I don't have to really guess too much. I literally can just kind of place them wherever I want. And then I took the little red hearts and I kind of put them just in the blank spaces. Remember, you can make these vinyl sizes as big as you want. So your designs, in this instance, I do kind of wish my hearts, they could have been a little bigger, but hey, it's all about, how you feel or how you want to make it. And that's an easy adjustment. So after that, after I've placed everything all over the tumbler, I'm just taking my squeegee and making sure that I am pressing really hard so that they are now adhering to the glass. And you want to make sure that you're getting like all sides and parts of each sticker because it could also like pick up from, it could stay on the transfer paper. And then I did use tweezers to take the transfer paper off. I did grab a piece of paper to put the transfer paper on after I did take it off, and you can see how strong this transfer tape is. But I really love it. It be getting the job done for me. I really hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any suggestions or want to see any future videos, be sure to leave it in the comments. And here is the final look of the tumbler after I was struggling. And don't forget to like this video if you like it. Don't forget to comment if you guys want to comment. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I'll talk with you soon. Bye.